One of the stories that sticks out for me the most is when I would come into New York. I commuted. I was 2 weeks in Calgary and 2 weeks in New York. And so I'd come in and I had to walk past all of the fans into this $1.6 billion New York Rangers organization. And I remember just feeling like, oh my gosh, what can I offer them? They've had so much success. And I just had all this self-doubt, I remember, as I was walking past the fans. And then luckily for me though, as soon as I walked into the garden, one of the first people to always greet me was our incredible captain and wise leader, who many of you know from the Oiler days, is Mark Messier. It was awesome. Mark would come over and he'd be like, hey Doc, how was your trip in? And what are you doing with your corporate and Olympics? And what are things you're reading? What are some stuff we can be doing? And he'd just hammer me with all these questions. And finally, after I got to know him a little bit better, I was like, okay, Mark, I got to be honest here. You have won 6 Stanley Cups. You are the only person that has been the captain on 2 different sports organizations that has won championships. And you ask me all these questions, and I don't have the answers. I just feel like such a rookie, you know? And Mark was so nice. He just kind of smiled, and he said, you know, Kimberly, I think you'd really enjoy learning about Kaizen. So, some of you would know, when Mark Messier suggests you do something, you go do it. So, off I went and learned all about Kaizen and Tao and Buddhism, and many of you would know that Kaizen means continuous improvement in the business world. But the meaning I see the best in the world have around Kaizen is actually in karate. When you get a black belt, the highest level, you're actually labeled Kaizen, which direct translation means beginner. And it's that beginner's mindset that the best in the world have every day, that they know they're great at one thing, but there's 1,000 other little things they need to be working on every day. And it's been awesome. I still work with Mark to this day at his company in New York, and he still has this, he always says, it's better to be the hunter than the hunted. And he has this way of always looking at ways for him to improve. So he's curious and hungry to be improving every single day. We're going to get into you in a second and do a goal, but I'll tell you an example of one of the things that I remember asking what he was working on, and he wanted to be better at engaging others around him. And it was interesting because he said before they started to win all the cups in Edmonton, is that he used to look at it that his teammates and the organization, everybody, that he worked with them. And it wasn't until he realized, and the shift, that he worked for them. He worked for the guy that helped him with his skates. He worked for the organization. He worked for the teammate. That it shifted, that mindset was really what shifted him to be a better leader and a better teammate.